Hi guys, how are you doing? Thanks so much for hanging in there. You go? Okay, no, goodbye. Okay. No, it's okay. No, I won't take your person. I'm kidding. How are you guys doing? Okay, I know it's the end of the day, and anyone who was able to impress you up until now already was here on the stage. So we're just going to talk like friends. So I just want you to take a quick moment, just stand up for a second. Get yourself ready. Come on, up, everyone. Just 1 second, just stretch out a little bit. We're almost there for drinks. And I would like you to reach out to the person next to you. Tell them they're looking pretty good. If it's your colleague, it's not fair. Don't do it. And please share one thing that you really love about your job and your favorite rapper. Go on, do it. Give it 20 seconds. Favorite rapper, don't forget. I can, yeah. What's your favorite? What's your favorite? Did you? I don't know, Bob Dylan or something. Yeah, pretty good, no? Okay, guys, good. Hello. Okay, we're good. The good news is you have something to talk about during drinks, so no more awkward introductions, everyone. So today we're going to talk about personas with jobs, and hopefully the conclusion that we're going to get to, and I'm going to share it pretty early, so if you need to go, you can go, is personas have a job. Please say it with me. Personas have a job. Thank you so much. Okay. So just to give you a bit of background on where I worked, please don't throw any eggs at me. I know everyone tried Pokemon Go, augmented reality doesn't work, whatever. But just to give you kind of a feel of, I guess, the breadth of consumer experiences I worked on. I worked both on B2B and on B2C. Spoiler alert, if you're in B2B, you're still selling to people. So personas are still important and they still have a job. We'll be on that one in a second. But as you can see, it's a whole mix of things like augmented reality, beauty and luxury, fintech as of 2 months ago, which is so odd. The one thing they have in common, personas that have a job. Thank you so much. Okay. This is one of my favorite gifts all times because this little kid had essentially one job and she failed at it. I absolutely love it. One of my best friends sent it to me once and said, "This sums up my life." At this point. Right. So I just want to start before we actually go into everything that we want to cover. And I promise it's going to be sweet and painless. Just to start with an old Buddhist story. Is the story of the blind man and the elephant. Now, initially, I was going to ask you to close your eyes with this one, but I'm pretty sure you're going to fall asleep, so none of that. But just try to imagine 6 blind men being invited in a courtyard. I thought it was a room, but elephant rooms don't work together. Anyway, in a courtyard, and they all have to describe what they see. They're asked to perceive an elephant. Now remember, they're blind, so they don't really know that's actually an elephant. And each of them is trying to actually reach out and understand through their perception what exactly it is that they have in front of them. And funny enough, one of them touches the ear and thinks, you know what, I think this is a fan. It's pretty windy around here. Another one touches the tusk and thinks, you know, I'm pretty sure this is a spear. And another one touches the tail and he's like, trust me, guys, it's a rope. And none of them actually come to any of conclusions. So, you know, that leaves them really confused. So basically, what went wrong here? They were all focused on their own experience. They were focused on their own perception of what was going on around them. And isn't it how value proposition brainstorms work? Doesn't everybody love a good brainstorm? Or you just have an empty wall, a bunch of Post-its, and let's just think of a value proposition. That doesn't work. And this is because, you know what, actually, what gets us in trouble is not really what we don't know, is what you know for sure that just ain't so. Now, this quote is actually put in, forgot the actual movie, funny enough, but it's misquoted to Mark Twain. And when I actually Googled it, I realized it's actually Lev Tolstoy. It's like, what a, you know, it proves the point that you always need to double check on what you think you know. Maybe that's why 7 out of 10 businesses fail in the first 10 years. And it's a really powerful statistic. And I had the privilege of working in 2 unicorns. One of them wouldn't really call itself a unicorn, but it's on the way. And one of them failed spectacularly because, because they didn't really nail the value proposition. They didn't really know what job they were actually doing for its customers. Anyway, this is not a presentation about how you should ignore your personas. I think personas are great, but they're a single perspective amongst many. So today I'm here to encourage you to enhance all the awesome work that you're doing with personas with another framework. And like someone said yesterday, what's a product marketing conference without a framework? Yes, we're going there. Just to recognize the fact that our users are actually dynamic and they're always on a journey. I know, yeah, anyway. They're always on a journey, and personas tend to be a little bit static. They tend to, capture what a user or a consumer feels and does and is at a certain point in time in their life. So the conclusion is, guys, personas have a job. Thank you. Nobody cared. Okay. But going back to the framework that I want to talk about today, obviously, a few of you have mentioned it, and I'm super grateful because it just laid the path for me today to talk about jobs to be done. It's a framework that has been pioneered by 2 different people. Clay Christensen is one of them. Developed it in a bit more detail for Harvard Business School. He wrote the Innovator's Dilemma. And basically what Jobs to be Done says is your customers are not there to buy your product. I'm so sorry. They're hiring your product to get a job done. And they fire it if you don't. I'll let that sink in for a second. So what are jobs? Jobs are actually functional actions with social and emotional components. And 2 things that I would like you to remember here is that they're stable over time. They don't really change as much. And they're solution agnostic. So technically, a job can be satisfied in a multitude of ways. And we're going to see that in a second. Let's take an example. Sharon and Jay need to get somewhere on time. Now, if you look at Sharon and Jay, you'd probably think they're pretty different personas. They probably come from different backgrounds. They're obviously different ages. So maybe personas are not really going to help us identify what we need to do here. They both use the same product, Google Maps. So you have different personas, same job, same product. So their job to be done essentially is to get somewhere on time. And Google Maps is just one way of achieving that. Remember what I posted in the app? I'm not sure how many of you saw this. What do Roman citizens in 2nd century BC have in common with you this weekend? Their job is to be entertained. And that is definitely my job this weekend. What about a writer or an Insta blogger? Their job is to express their creativity. And there's multiple ways of doing that, right? What I'm trying to get at is that personas actually change, but the job stays the same. Now, each value proposition has 2 components. It has a beneficiary, so a persona, let's say, and a job. And the beneficiary of the persona gives us a lot of really interesting insights: demographic data, geographic data, psychographic, all that. But the job to be done gives us a clearer picture around the behavioral insights, the buying patterns, the experience, and the end goals, right? So please complement the 2. And then this is another framework, there you go. But it's a really interesting one because just taking a step back from jobs to be done, your product managers will pretty much know what this framework is. They're going to be very grateful to have you talk to them in very similar methodologies, right? The persona gives you kind of an X-ray of who you're actually targeting. The jobs to be done will describe what needs to get done, what their end goal is, and then you can actually contextualize that and look that over the entire customer journey. So to summarize that, the jobs give you the functional outcome that your persona is after. Personas give you the human dimension, who you're actually building products for and who you're actually communicating to. And journeys give you the context, and that is really, really important. You know better than I do when you communicate to people. And so basically that gets you thinking. Jobs actually help you reframe your market and your competitors. I'll give you an example. Yesterday I was super tired And I don't know if it happened to you, but my Slack exploded midway through the day. People started messaging me. I don't know what we're doing with this. What do you think about that? Da, da, da. Anyway, so my job at the end of the day was to change how I feel. Now, there's very different ways to do that. I could either go buy myself something nice. I could buy myself maybe some makeup just to feel a bit better, whatever. I could buy a McDonald's meal, which is exactly what I did. Or I could just sort out my finances, which in hindsight doesn't look that sexy anymore. Anyway, but I'm here to actually share, and it's, I'm sure it's kind of coming across that you can satisfy the same job with multiple products or multiple ways. And just to encourage you to not think of your immediate, I'm just going to go back for a second, to not think of your competitors in the way you define it. Just think of your perceived competitors, because that's exactly how your personas are going to see it. So how did we approach this? And for one of the products, which I cannot disclose, we approached it in a pretty expensive way. Hashtag expensive. We did 3,000 plus interviews. Well, it was actually a questionnaire, so relax. 4 markets, 75 needs that we highlighted, and a gazillion insights. And today I'm hoping to actually share something that you can take back to your team. It won't cost a lot. Please partner with your insights manager or with your research team and try to put that in motion. So cost-free, relatively, it's going to be really effective, I promise. What we found out, actually, is that beauty consumers don't want AI chatbots. We were really heartbroken. Their job to be done was actually to look the way they want. Equally, for our app users in fintech space, right? They don't want credit products. They want to afford what they need or what they want. And that changes things, because you can tackle that problem in very different ways, and communication can follow lead on that. So step by step, we mapped out each stage and each step of the job. When a customer starts identifying or starts to think of, well, I need to do something, let me figure out what solution I have, they define the problem, they prepare for it, they execute on it, they monitor to see if everything went well, they modified, and they concluded. So to give you an example, yesterday when I was looking for McDonald's, I tried to find, well, I'm not feeling so well, I just want something nice to eat. Something that I can eat by myself and my boyfriend will not judge me. And so I defined that, I prepared, went on, Uber Eats. Those are the only guys who do it. Uber Eats, I executed it, I monitored, I checked every 5 minutes to see where my order was. I modified it. I basically told the guy, please call me when you're downstairs. And then I concluded, which was watching that and, eating, I didn't watch the food, eating the food and watching some Netflix. So for each of these stages, you put out the steps. So one of the steps, as I said, was researching what options I have, what are the nearest restaurants or whatever. And then moving forward, for each of those steps, you calculate an opportunity score. Essentially, each step has a nugget of opportunity for you. Through questionnaires or through interviews, you can assess the importance and the satisfaction. How important is it for that person to get that thing done? And how satisfied are they with their current solutions? That's how you identify a satisfaction gap. And so your opportunity score becomes the importance plus that satisfaction gap. Just to give you a preview, if the score is smaller than 10, don't bother. And if the score is higher than 10, you should probably start paying attention to that. That's really going to be powerful when you talk to your product manager and you do this together to identify what features should be next. How should we be addressing? Maybe there's already features that we don't talk about enough, right? The third one is selecting areas of opportunity. So for us, we identified the ones with the hearts are actually the ones that had the higher score, which is incredibly important. And we identified at this point where we can shine best, where we can excel, where the customer, what the customer cares about most. We then organized the opportunity in themes. So in our case, we had something around self-perception, we had something around techniques, around planning, personalization, deliberation, you name it. You'll figure it out. You'll see the ones that, the themes that have the heart, you put them in little themes together with your team. And then you start ideating into those themes with your product, commercial team, and whoever else you think is necessary over there. I know that some of you work in B2B, so that might look a bit different. For B2C, we love partnering with our insights managers and with our market leads. And then you can actually, once you have those themes and once you have those ideas, you can actually map them as to how hard are they to execute and how much impact they actually have. And then the beauty comes together of identifying your competitive edge. When you start doing that in parallel with your competitors, it's not just a simple table anymore. You actually see it contextually across the entire journey, where you can add most value, where you can actually shine, where you can differentiate. It's a really interesting exercise. And of course, you can do it in tandem with those questionnaires that I was talking about earlier, but you can also do it internally. You can get a lot of insights already available for that. Then we selected, so you basically select 3 underserved value propositions from all of those where you shine, where your score is higher. You test it out with your personas and you'll be surprised to see the kind of insights you find. And we found really interesting stuff around that. And then you craft your messaging based on the insights you get the personas. You alter a little bit your value proposition. You see how that trickles down your positioning, as I showed you with the competitors, and then craft your messaging, test, and again, I say test. And then you start replanning your go-to-market strategy. You probably already have one, but just to give you an indication, and there's 2 dimensions here. There's getting the job done better than your competitor or getting it done pretty much the same, but also being able to charge more or less. When you get the job done better, and you charge more, you basically just go for a differentiated strategy. So you win your underserved customers only. Obviously, the winning solution is to get the job done better and charge less, because that's when you actually dominate the market and you win everybody. That's not always the case. That shouldn't be the strategy for everybody, and that's totally fine. But it does, these kind of, especially this one, has proven to be incredibly effective in terms of building that bridge of communication with product management and also setting the expectations. I don't know if you guys ever had this, just as a side story. Have you ever had this happen to you where a product manager comes and is like, we're not really talking enough about our product? And we're like, really? Tell me how it's different. Tell me what can I possibly do at this point? That, you're doing the job exactly the same way as your competitor. What are we going to do? You need to do something on the product side. And this is a great conversation starter between you and product, where you don't pass the hot potato anymore. You actually start building solutions. You actually start understanding what you can do in the short term versus the long term. Right. Why is it important to find a balance between personas and jobs? Because I don't know if any of you remember the big pens for women. If you don't, go on Amazon and look it up. It is hilarious how many people mock it for what it is. If anyone is here from BIC, I love you guys. I'm so sorry. You've been doing a great job for all these years. This one has been spectacular. If you go there, essentially, you see, a product that is designed for women, a pen that is pink for some reason, but all I need to do is to get something written down. That's all I needed to do. You don't need to emphasize that I'm a woman and make the pen pink for me. It's fine. I can write with a blue pen, okay? And so this is what happens when you overemphasize the personas and you forget about the functional side. You overemphasize the unimportant, and you're at risk of having something that's quite biased and quite prejudiced. Genuinely go on Amazon and check this out afterwards. I laughed for half an hour. Equally, when jobs kind of get on the other side, you bury the emotional and the social needs, and you become too functional and too cold. And that's also a risk that you want to stay away from, because then you're literally undifferentiated, and it just becomes a really sad story. This is the outline. You can take a photo. Let me tell you what, look at everyone who's taking a photo. How many of you took a photo today and the day before? Right. What was your job? To capture insights. Hello, anyone from SQL listening? Huh? That's a job to be done. That's not answered. And the same goes for Evernote or for others. A job that hasn't, writing it down or, actually looking at the presenter and engaging with them. What's more important? I left my laptop down for like half a day already, and I think I absorbed a lot more information because I took photos. So here's another fine example. Anyway, these are all the steps. We're going to share this with you afterwards. But remember, jobs. Please, jobs. And here are some great resources for you to look into. Like Alex said earlier, I'm not sure if he's here, but you do really need to flex your muscle when it comes to UX, when it comes to other areas of expertise. And these ones will allow you to dip your feet into product management, into a little bit of UX, into a little bit of strategy work, and so on and so forth. So I totally recommend these, especially the Jobs to Be Done book. And then The Innovator's Dilemma by Clay Christensen. Thank you very much. Looking forward to connecting with you afterwards.
Thank you, Georgia. We've got time actually for quite
Awesome.
questions.
See, I didn't want to keep the guys waiting. This is end of day.
I know. I don't know if we have any questions. We'll just load up Slido.
I'm telling you, there won't be that many.
In the meantime, the people we've still got, just show of hands who's already using Jobs to Be Done in your company.
Awesome.
So,
sort of. Awesome.
Some people partly know, but a lot of people are using it as
really powerful stuff.
There you go. We've already got a question. What are the top 3 key skills every PMM should have?
Oh my God. Number 1, I don't know. No. Number 1, managing upwards. Negotiation, selling in what value you actually bring. No, this is one of the things that we forget about as product marketing managers. We are in the business of selling our own discipline. We're too early on in the day. I don't know if you guys feel that. I was the first PMM at my previous job. I'm the second at this job, and I have to always iterate where we actually add value. So please don't forget that. Other than selling your product, the job is also your job to be done is also to help people understand where product marketing adds value. So that's 1. Number 2, I think having a good product management understanding helps bridge a lot of conversations that you want to avoid. Building trust with your product management team is crucial as PMM, because that's when they start bringing you in roadmap discussions. They start bringing in all these things that normally they'll be like, that's fine, we'll just give it to them. They can just market it out, right? And then the third thing is empathy, as everybody else has said today, 100%. Do you have a sales enablement specialist in your company? Great question. No. No, we don't. What we do have, because Maniz is a fintech startup, right? And we're very, very B2C focused. So we have a huge customer service team. We have market development leads, and these people are usually the ones who kind of take the message forward, But in terms of sales enablement specialists in the team to empower these guys, not so much. It's probably our team's job for now. Cool.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.